We begin with big new developments on Boeing. The stock falling hard today, taking the Dow down with it, on news that a former Boeing employee may have misled federal regulators about the safety of its 737 MAX planes. Phil LeBeau has been following the story all day for us and joins us from Chicago. Hi, Phil.
Tyler, you know the old expression, you're seeing the sausage being made? My photographer, Bob Pollock, handing me new documents we have just received from Capitol Hill regarding what a former chief technical pilot for Boeing may have known when the MCAS system, which is crucial to the 737 MAX, was being developed. This all goes back to 2016 messages that were turned over on Capitol Hill. In one of those messages, he says, "Oh, shocker alert. MCAS is now active down to M2. It is running rampant in the sim on me." The sim referring to the simulator. Again, remember, they're in the process of developing the MCAS system back in 2016. A couple of texts later, or a couple of messages later, he messages a coworker, "So I basically lied to the regulators unknowingly." What exactly did he mean when he said he lied to the regulators? We received a statement from his attorney, that is the chief technical pilot's attorney. He says, if you read the whole chat, it is obvious that there was no lie. The simulator was not reading right and had to be fixed to fly like the real plane. Mark's career at Air Force, at FAA, at Boeing was about safety. He would never put anyone in an unsafe plane. By the way, Boeing, we reached out to them today. They say that they are cooperating not only with the probes on Capitol Hill, but also with the Department of Transportation, as well as the Department of Justice. Guys, I'm just getting some documents, copies of emails from that former chief technical pilot that was sent back in early 2016, I think. And we're going to go through these to see what else they say, some of the headlines that we're seeing regarding these emails. So, one of them says that the chief technical pilot said he would be, quote unquote, tricking regulators into accepting FAA-approved 737 MAX training. So, guys, we're going to go through all of these emails. We may have an update in a little bit for you, but certainly a day where a lot of documents are coming out and people are saying, what did they know, and when did they know it, and why aren't we hearing about it before now?
Let me ask you just one quick follow-up question, if I might. The lawyer for this technical pilot has denied that there was any kind of lie, but what was this individual referring to, ostensibly, when he said, I may have unwittingly, I think was his word, lied
unknowingly.
Unknowingly lied to the regulators. What was he referring to, and what does he mean by unknowingly?
Well, that's two great questions there that we would love to find out the answer to. By the way, we have asked this attorney for the pilot if he could provide greater clarification on this. We don't know, Tyler. There's no way for us to know exactly what he's talking about. And in terms of why these documents are coming out now, remember that Dennis Muhlenberg will be on Capitol Hill October 29th and 30th testifying once before the Senate, once before the House, who are looking into the 737 MAX. Boeing had to forward these documents to them since that testimony was coming up. So that's one reason why we're hearing about it now. But as you look through these emails, the big question is, what was in the mind of Mark Faulkner, who was the chief technical pilot at Boeing at that time in 2016.
All right, Phil, keep us posted. If you find out more, let us know. Let's trade the name. Now, does anybody here on the desk own this company? Anybody own
Don't
Boeing?
own it. I tell you what, Tyler, though, over the last few weeks, to me, it's really been a question of when do I jump back into the name? Because, although we've speculated onto really more structural issues with the company, when do they get MAX deliveries back in place? If they have to delay, and actually you have to start to kind of move down some of your EPS numbers. But that otherwise, this has played out, to me, similar to other times when we've seen there be an FAA disruption of Boeing. But look, right now, there's nothing in today's announcement that says you need to go in there and do anything. And in fact, look, I could play simulator with that simulator conversation, but I don't really know the context of that conversation, and it would be crazy for an investor, I think, to try to jump in.
And the stock has acted incredibly well with everything that's been thrown at it. It was up 12% basically up until today. But to Tim's point, I think you have to wait. You sort of want to wait to the return of the MAX, but you can't wait to the exact return of the MAX because then you're going to miss a lot of that run-up into the return of the MAX. But if you got in early, this is the type of event that you see. So unfortunately, now you're benched if you're a bull in Boeing.
If you look at that chart right there, it looks like it's lost about $90 from early March, right? 90 or maybe even $100 a share from early March. So to your point, maybe it is getting to a point where it's investigatable. Karen, you own some of the airlines.
I do.
This whole situation is messing with their numbers and their ability to transport passengers.
Right. Well, it's, depends on which airline.
Right.
So you have Southwest having a ton exposure. You have some others like Delta for example,
Delta,
which actually has been
very little or none, right?
Delta's been sort of the beneficiary of the capacity that others aren't able to meet because they don't have these planes yet. But Delta has also had incremental expenses trying to service those customers. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm not sure. I had thought Boeing was acting pretty well. It stopped going down on what had been some bad news here and there. This obviously is sort of a different kind of bad news that really, we don't know exactly what it is yet. And it is possible that, as Tim said, we have some different context, that ultimately February or March, when they were talking about having the 737 MAX in the air, maybe that's still possible.
What the airlines want is a date certain.
Yes.
Where they can count on this plane being certified to fly again.
Right. So, I mean, running a business like that, you need certainty, even if it's not the exact timing that you wanted. Just having that certainty and knowing how to plan your business is really important.
Boeing has been through, Guy, this kind of stuff, not this kind of stuff before, but they've had delays that messed up the 787 Dreamliner
many times over
and
the last
other
decade.
things,
Yeah, absolutely.
major hairballs that have really hurt the stock.
By the way,
past.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're
it's good to be here.
Much more handsome in real life than you are on the TV. Just I want to.
You're much more handsome in real life.
I'm not
I'm going to take off my jacket.
It's not a quid pro quo.
In the break.
You like what I did there?
Nice.
No quid pro quo.
But, look, I don't know what was in this gentleman's mind when he sent the message. It might have been innocuous. I think the real problem is the FAA is saying, you know what, Boeing withheld internal conversations or internal messages from us. Again, I'm not saying there's a cover-up. It's not my point, but this should have been out months ago, it seems to me, if Boeing had any inkling that it was even there. So does the stock traded? Well, you can make that argument, but quite frankly, since this thing cratered back in March to 375, it's effectively gone sideways until today. It's had some ups and downs. Reports on October 23rd. Is there any compelling reason to go racing into this thing before earnings? I say no, and I think we've said that for a while. Tim makes great points. And by the way, the defense sector, which is significant, gets no credit in this environment, probably justifiably. So I say wait and see what they say on the 23rd, and I think you get an opportunity to buy it even cheaper than where it closed today.